Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Today, I am missing Phillies baseball. When I wake up each day, it's something new. Monday, I can't believe I can't get to watch the Flyers fight for the Stanley Cup. Tuesday, I'm pissed off I don't get to see Ben Simmons play on the basketball floor. Wednesday, it's Phillies baseball. Then we restart the cycle all over again, and it continues to go in that type of form. Well, Saturday afternoon, here I am, and I'm missing Phillies baseball. Now, I wonder if it's because I wake up and I look outside, and it looks nice outside. It looks sunny. And it seems as if it would be a fantastic day to sit at Citizens Bank Park with a cold one, get some ice cream, how about some Chicky and Pete's crab fries, and load up those fries with all the cheese. Even though when you open the door and actually walk outside, it's chilly, it's cold, and it doesn't feel very beautiful. Maybe it's just because I see outside from my house, outside the window, and it looks like it would be a beautiful afternoon game. Phillies Nationals at Citizens Bank Park. Or maybe it's also because the Korean Baseball League is on. And yes, I am watching the Korean Baseball League. That's right. I find it very entertaining. I don't know why today was a Phillies day for me, but it is. Moral of the story is, and how this ties into the conversation that we are about to have, Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper spoke on the Starting Nine podcast, and he was awesome. It was fantastic. We are used to Bryce Harper being a super professional, always giving the right answers. I love my teammates. I love Philadelphia. I love baseball. Just giving the generic standard answers and being very professional, which isn't a bad thing. I am okay with him being that. I always talked about him having more personality, having more attitude, right? I would love for that to be a part of him daily so we can connect more, but I'm not complaining to an insane degree. Well, on this podcast, which, by the way, wasn't 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, this was hours long. He spoke as if he was hanging out with the boys. He was hanging out with his best friends. That was the vibe. He was giving you all sorts of information. What it was like to go through the offseason process with Scott Boras and wanting to go back to the Nationals, really enjoying their offer, but didn't like the deferred money aspect of it and didn't think the Phillies would really be in the mix, and how he feels as a teammate and his compete level and all of it. I mean, it was just awesome to hear him speak as if he was just chilling. And I have a bunch of audio cuts that we are going to listen to, and I will react to those audio cuts. But before we do, let's hear a word from my sponsors. This episode of Sports Talk with Broads is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. They set the standard for clean energy. Whether you are looking to add solar to your home or company, Orbit Energy and Power works directly with you to ensure you are getting the best deal. That's not all. Orbit can also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, and battery storage. Visit them online at orbitenergy.us or give them a call at 800-836-3987. And also, do not forget about Ravens Brew Coffee. You know me, I drink 3 million cups of Joe every day. And the moment Ravens Brew Coffee hit my lips, I instantly understood how fantastic this coffee was. Now, they have so much variety. They have so many different types of brew. Very unique flavors as well. And different caffeine levels depending on what time of the day. Make sure you check out Ravens Brew Coffee. The link is in the description. I am so pumped to listen to these audio cuts. When I listened to the podcast originally, I had the goosebumps. I had the chills. And I was smiling the whole time as if you don't really get this side of Bryce Harper. And I feel like that makes you not appreciate him because you're so used to the standard answers that he kind of gives NBC Sports Philadelphia, or he gives media members after the game. You get a different view now. You see the behind-the-scenes stuff of the big contract, of John Middleton and his conversations, of what he was really feeling during certain moments, whether it was playing in Philadelphia as a National. We'll get into it. I can't wait. I can't wait to listen to all these again. It's so awesome to see this side of him. It really is. So we're going to start off with how he feels about legacies and being on the same team for a long time in their respected careers.
And I think it's really sad that players aren't able to do that, just like a Mookie Betts, man. Like, and I know, sorry, this crushes you, but like, I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like that, as a fan, like you're sitting there going, like, you kind of understand why they did it, but also to the fact of that, like, are they going to sign him back next year? You know, like, should they? Yes, they should. But like, are they actually going to do it? You know, they got 4 prospects for him or whatever.
So pretty much in that cut, he really values and appreciates a player, a star player, staying with one organization for a really long time, for their whole entire career, if possible. He thinks that that is awesome and fascinating. Then it relates to the next cut where he initially wanted to stay with the Nationals.
So at the end of the year in 18, wasn't a very good year for us. It was definitely tough. We went to Colorado for the last series, and I was like, man, this could be it, you know? But at that time, I talked to Scott, and I was like, I want to be there. Like, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to play. Like, you look at all the best guys in the league, like, in years past, have stayed with the team their whole career. Like, it's really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that you look at, and you're, like, looking at Jeter, you're looking at Rip, like, you're looking at Trout now. Like, guys that are staying with their team for their whole career, like.
And he goes on to continue how he really appreciated the offer from the Nationals. $300 million, that's nothing to laugh at. That's nothing to be, oh, whoa, are you kidding me? I deserve way more money. He wasn't with that type of attitude about it, and he didn't look at it as if that was the problem. The problem was the deferred money and how long it would take to get this money. And listen, you know, you can look at that from an outside perspective, a normal Samaritan in society, and be all, I can't believe it. Who cares how long it is? It's still $300 million. Yeah, that's easy for us to say, right? When you're in the mix, when you understand how much money you can get paid, it's a totally different ballgame. So I don't blame Bryce Harper for not enjoying the fact that the Washington Nationals had deferred money on the table. That's not what you want. You want that money as fast as humanly possible, and if they're willing to pay you until however long and spread that out for so long, that's not what the players want. There's a reason why the deferred money is a problem for a ton of baseball players. It's not as if it's just Bryce Harper, so it's just interesting to see, you know, or to hear he really did enjoy Washington, D.C. He wanted to play there. He values a player staying in one spot for as long as humanly possible, for as an entire career can play out, but it just didn't work that way. So it moves forward into the first meeting in Philadelphia. Check this out.
So Philly came in, tell you, like, they came in, and I wasn't very excited. I was kind of like, well, you know, like, I played against you guys, and I told them this flat out. I said, we keep you guys actually for the last couple of years. Like, I don't see it. You know, like, I told them, like, I mean, I flat out said that to them. I was like, I don't see it. So
I beat your ass every single year. How about it? So he walks in the Philly. He's having some conversations, whether it was a serious conversation at that point or whether it was a traditional, hey, Bryce, a very common first introduction type meeting, whatever the case may be. He didn't really feel it then. As if you're going into your rival. Put it in perspective of you right now listening. You probably grew up playing sports, and if you did, there was a team that you despised, right? I played for Team Comcast when I was playing AAA hockey my whole life, right? And we played the Junior Flyers. We despised the Junior Flyers, hated each other, literally wanted to murder each other on the ice. If I got offered an opportunity to play for the Junior Flyers after spending so many years with Team Comcast, I don't know if that would feel right. So put that in perspective of when you played your respected sport. If your rival offered you some big-time money afterwards, after your contract was up, it's easy to say, of course I would say yes, depending on the money. Okay. Emotionally, though, feel about the emotional tie. And then having to go back and play your rival, which was your former team, it's just interesting to hear him say that. Now, he continues to go on.
I wanted to go to an organization that really understood what winning was about, had a lot of veteran guys around as well, if that was Manuel or Boa or, you know, Morandini or all these guys that always come back into camp, with a great, you know, city to play in and things like that.
How about that? All right, so he really valued veterans. He really added value to a respected culture, pretty much is how I interpreted that. He wanted to be in a spot where they know how to win. They have a good roster. And when you look at the roster now, you got Andrew McCutchen. You got him. You got JT Realmuto. Gene Segura is a veteran. There's some youth as well, but I think that adds a lot of value to what he says next.
I wanted a team that was going to do that as well. They were going to, invest, and they were going to go out and get the guys that they needed to do, but be smart as well, because you have to understand, like, you can't just trade a star player and, kill all your prospects. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to trade Spencer Howard because we want 2 years of, Chris Bryant. I love Chris. Chris is one of my best friends. Like, he's a great hitter. But, like, if we can't extend Chris after we traded Spencer Howard, then what would be the point?
Chris Bryant is one of his best friends. And we've all been screaming, we need a third baseman. Trade Alec Boehm if you can find a way to get Chris Bryant. And I'm totally on that train as long as they can extend him. And he would be a part of this for a while. But here's the thing. He understands that you need prospects to win, because those prospects turn into something. Now you can have the conversation about this team failing to draft all the time, and that's a totally different conversation, right? But he understands how important it is to have an organization that puts a lot of stock in these prospects, that knows that Spencer Howard could be that piece to the rotation that will help this team win and succeed down the road. So he talked about the veterans and how they have a good mix of veterans and how that's important to look at an organization that values older players who have experience, yet he also knows you got to have a good prospect pool. And you can't be throwing around all of these prospects to go out and get veteran players. You got to have a good combination of mix, and he thought that would be a good thing here in Philadelphia. He thought Philadelphia had that going for him. And
then it was funny because in 18, we'd go back in there and they loved me. You know what I'm saying? Like 2018, they're like, Harp, come to Philly, dude. Like, that'd be great. Go down Broad Street. Like, be our Nick Foles kind of.
I just love that cut. 1 year, you suck. The next year, come on, baby, let's go. And that's kind of what we are, right? Very passionate, very extreme one day to the next. You can relate that to a Sixers game. If on Wednesday they beat the Raptors, this team could go to the finals. And then 3 days later, they lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road. And before you know it, we're losing in the first round. That's how some people view these teams. It's one extreme to the next. I think that is a perfect example of that. But you just hear his tone of voice and how he's having fun talking with the fellas. And I think that adds a lot to hearing him say this, and it adds a lot to the context, and it adds a lot to how I'm embracing this podcast and this conversation as a whole, because you're just seeing a side of him where he's being true, he's being real, he's telling it as it is, and it's not so much a media spotlight, hey, Bryce, answer these questions, so I can relate to what he's saying more. He's so passionate about his work ethic and the Phillies' work ethic, but let's hear about how he developed this.
This guy is an absolute animal, and he came home every single day, like, working his ass off. And I knew that's what I had to do. Like, I had to do that. Like, that's instilled into me because I saw my family do it. I saw them work their ass off. Like, I saw them do everything every single day to provide for me and my family and my sister and brother. And so when I was going into a city, I knew what these people went through. I understand what they're going through because my dad did it every damn day, bro. And, like, that's what fuels me going out there every single day.
He loves the Phillies attitude. He loves the blue-collar work ethic. He is one of those guys who loves bringing his lunch pail to work. He's got his hard hat on, his work boots that are all beat up, maybe even a high-vis shirt because he's an electrician or a construction worker. He has that type of mindset when he clocks in and puts his timesheet in. And it's awesome to see how he relates that to the city of Philadelphia. Now, there was one on here that tied perfectly in with that. Let's see here. Where was that audio cut? Oh, yes, this here. Now, this is a little funky because of the coronavirus and not having fans, but it relates to that hard work, determination attitude.
I want to play 158 to 162 because those fans work through their whole week to buy a ticket for a Saturday day game or Saturday night game. And if I'm not playing, that's a slap in the face to them. Like, they are the working class city and they are grinding every single day to get by. And if I can make them happy that Saturday or Sunday, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to work my freaking tail off to.
Come on now, talk about the goosebumps. Talk about getting fired up. Now, it's funny how that relates to the NBA. Load management, there's 82 games, I don't feel like playing. Last year, I remember him diving into the wall late in the season when it wasn't that close of a game because he brings the effort all the time. How great was he defensively last year? That was his biggest knock. Oh, he can't play defense or right field. He's not a great defender. He was absolutely phenomenal on defense last year. How many times did he steal bases? 15 stolen bases? How many times did he hustle to second when it was a standard single? Now, there were times where he took that chance and it backfired, but it's about the mentality of being aggressive and staying on it and always working hard. And I just picture him right now with that flow, running hard to second base or running hard to third base and the helmet's flying off and you can see how much he's digging into the dirt every single stride. That's how he plays the game. And he relates it to what his dad did and what he watched his father do. And if you're comparing what his father did when he was young to pay the bills, to go to work every day and work his ass off, there probably is no better city to relate that to than Philadelphia. So it kind of makes total sense. It really, really does. Let's listen to what he feels the fans are like here.
When I was going through it, I was like, what city can do that for me? And I was like, Philly. Not even close, not even a question. And for me personally, this is no disrespect to DC or anything like that. I love Philly. I love those fans. I love the pure emotion the fans and the Philadelphians feel. And
I love it. Now, there's a time where I question, do you always love it? And I'm sure he does. There was a time early on where he didn't come completely raking at one point and kind of got into a little spurt of bad baseball. And if you're a fan of baseball, you clearly know that good players go through slumps. Good players go through bad stretches where they're not hitting a lot of homers or they're struggling to get on base. And Bryce Harper was going through one of those times. And you heard the boos. And the obnoxious boos came in, and I was disgusted. You don't boo Bryce Harper like that. Year one, there's a lot going on. It's a big change. Like, come on, you're really booing. And it felt like a harsh boo, too. And he talks about those fans right now. And they care so much. And I wonder when he's walking back to the dugout during those times if he still loves that. Deep down, is he saying, shut the hell up? Or is he going with, this is why I came here? They weren't doing this in D.C. because they don't care as much as they do here in Philly. This is what I accepted. Come on, bring on the booze because I will shut you up. Does he take that and bottle it up, and allow him to use that fuel to bring him to the next level once he gets out of that slump? I don't know. I just wonder how it feels to sign that big contract, to love the fans. You hear them cheer for you all the time after all the homers, but when things go bad, it's a quick turn and it's boo. See, there's a difference between we love you, boos, pick it up, boo, and we are so pissed off at you, boo. And it was crossing the line into that we are pissed off at you, boo. Now, once again, personally, I was anti. I was not a fan of that. I did not support that. But there were fans that did cross that line, and you can sense the difference. There's two levels of boos. A respect boo, like, hey, pick it the hell up, and I want to say some words right now, but I can't type a boo. And when it hits that line, you can sense it, you can feel it, and I wonder how he embraces that as an athlete.
You saw it, I mean, when they won in 08 and when they were good in 09, and then you saw it with the Super Bowl and the Eagles and them getting there, and the way they rallied around Foles and that team, and, I mean, the underdog. Like, Philly is a city of underdog. Like, it's just the hate they feel for other teams. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Philly or nothing.
It's Philly or nothing. And once again, these sound like answers where they're very positive and he's giving a lot of love and support to Philly. But it's not, what I'm trying to say is, this isn't 8 cameras in his face, www.phillies.com, NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com, all of these websites, MLB.com, where it's official, hey, Give me your answers, Bryce Harper. This is him hanging out with guys of Barstool Sports, so that, of course, is going to open him up a bit because of the nature of what Barstool Sports is all about, and he's just kind of shooting it. And he's giving it to you real, though. Like, he actually feels this way. If he didn't like Philly as much as he does, then he would say that. He would be open about it. It's that type of relationship with this pod. And halfway through, not even halfway through, just a half hour, an hour in, I forget what it was, they're like, Bryce, man, thanks for this. I can't believe we're still going. It's like, dude, it's quarantine, bro. Let's talk some baseball. He prolonged it longer than they expected him to. He was all giddy. He was enjoying it. I mean, come on. It's just awesome to hear him talk like this.
I want to compete. I want to perform, but also, like, when I get away from the field, I'm a totally different person. When I'm between those lines, like I said, like, I want to do everything I can possible to win that game that day, no matter what.
Now, this is what I really, really think is cool. He talks about the way he approaches the game, his mentality during play. I'll have teams, or I'll have friends on certain teams, and I want to kill them out there. I want to win. I want to do whatever it takes to win that damn baseball game. And what he said there kind of relates to this soundbite here as being a great teammate.
I'm not saying I'm this great teammate or anything like that, but, like, that does get to you. Like, you want to be known as a good teammate and a good person and a good guy. Like, but also, I want to run your ass over at second base. Like, yes. Where I want to win games. I want to be able to bring championships back to a city. I want to be able to go down as one of the best players to ever play the game. But also, like, I don't want to be known as this that's playing the game.
Now, if he had this type of talk before last season, I think Phillies fans would embrace him differently. This is something that Mike Gill and I touched on 97.3 ESPN over this past week. Is he loved enough? Is he appreciated enough? And I don't know if he is. And I think it's because the way he is brought up and how professional he is. But if you put a conversation like this out there before he even played a baseball game, and I know it would be hard to because a lot of these questions have to do with experiencing the first season here in Philly. So, there are some logistics involved that would change that. But if you understand where I'm going here, you put out this type of Bryce Harper previous to him playing baseball for the Phillies, and he is himself like this, you hear him talk about wanting to run people over. There's this talk all the time about when Philadelphia sports fans look at athletes, is it about their product on the field or is it about their work ethic? It's almost as if Philadelphia sports fans take work ethic over talent. They'd rather have a good person who works hard and it doesn't result in winning over a player who is a pain in the ass, you can't stand him, but it ends in winning their respected games. So with Bryce Harper, if you hear him say, I want to run you over. I want to kill you on the diamond. I will do whatever it takes for 9 innings, or if it takes longer than 9 innings due to extras, I will do whatever it takes to go out there and destroy a baseball team. If you hear that, you embrace this guy differently. You connect with this guy differently. Because guess what? He's doing more than just the work ethic part of it. He helps you win games, and he has that type of mentality. So he's giving you 3,000% on the diamond, and it's resulting in winning as well. He's doing everything he possibly can that one person can do on a baseball field. Let's be realistic. It's not a quarterback. It's not other positions in sports, a goaltender, where you are totally able to take over and be the difference. LeBron James, right? Like, Bryce Harper can't put that type of imprint, footprint, fingerprint on a game, but he can totally help, without a doubt, and help that team takes the next jump. He can do that, and he provides both. But you originally see him, and it's a totally different atmosphere, and it's a total different approach, and I get the approach. I do. It makes a lot of sense. I just honestly when I think about it, I think he's not appreciated enough in this city. They see the contract, they get super annoyed with how much money that is because they see the 330, but they don't understand the context. They don't understand Garrett Cole's getting paid, $36-37 million per year, and they don't see that Mike Trout is getting paid $37 million per year. Bryce Harper's getting paid $26 million per year. It's the length. It's 13 years. AAV-wise, when you look at the luxury tax-wise, Bryce Harper's a steal. So it makes no sense on why he's not appreciated as much as he should be. But I guess there are a ton of people in this city that will do that with anyone. Carson Wentz is not appreciated. Ben Simmons is not appreciated. Joel Embiid is not appreciated. Claude Giroux is not appreciated. There's a lot of athletes that are not appreciated in this fan base. So I guess to an extent, it does make sense, even though I totally disagree with it. So there you have it. Bryce Harper with some audio cuts. I thought it was a really great listen. It gives me the goosebumps, as I stated, and I can't wait for baseball to come back. I don't know when it will, if it'll be a half season. There are some conversations brewing up. Jeff Passan just put out a report talking about how it is possible to play in empty arenas, empty stadiums, but still keep it within the actual stadiums, not so much the quarantine life of just Texas, just Arizona, just Florida. There might be some more travel involved in actually playing in certain stadiums. There's more noise, and all we know is it's possible that sports is on its way to returning. So once again, this episode of Sports Talk with Broads is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. They set the standard for clean energy. Whether you are looking to add solar to your home or company, they work directly with you to ensure that you are getting the best deal. So make sure you check them out at orbitenergy.us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and I will see you next time.